Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Cole's Farm. Hopefully I have the camera positioned at the right angle so you can see some of the activity over my right shoulder. Alright, so hey, today is April 10th. It's about 10:30 in the morning. Let's talk about the temperature real quick. The WeatherBug app has the temperature at 72 degrees Fahrenheit, 76% humidity, and it feels like 71 degrees. My backyard Accurate weather station has the temperature at 74 degrees, 93% humidity, which I still think there's something wrong with that chip because there's such a large difference, and the feels like temperature at 80 degrees. I think WeatherBug's more accurate here because it is extremely comfortable right now outside in the bee yard here. Alright, so back in the yard, gonna conduct some inspections for the second time this year. The last inspection was March 28th, which was 13 days ago, and just gonna roll through a quick summary of what happened last week if you haven't watched the videos. Like I said last time, I'm gonna make an introduction video for each inspection cycle, and then the individual hive inspections, I'm just gonna get right into it instead of going through the same introduction with the temperature and date and all that kind of stuff. All right, so hive number 1 successfully overwintered, and then last week I marked 2021's queen. Most likely she hatched out probably around September, October when they superseded her, but no way to tell because I was deployed during that time frame. So I marked hive number 1's queen with a white dot last week, and they were looking pretty good. Not too many frames of bees that I remember. I did feed them about 3/4 of a gallon of not 1-to-1 syrup, but a little thinner, maybe 1/2-to-1 ratio, in order to stimulate the queen to lay more brood and essentially build up the colony. So I'll be checking on that today. Hive number 6, which is actually in the second position, pretty aggressive, more aggressive than I would like, to where I definitely have to make sure everything's zipped up so no bees get into my veil. I made a split from them because I found one frame that had 2 queen cells, and that is actually this hive right here. So they've been out here for 13 days, like I said. The first week I would come out, there wasn't too much activity on the front porch. I did give them a pint of the same mixture, about 1/2-to-1 ratio, and it looks like some bees have hatched, or the nurse bees that were in there have become mature enough to where they're now field bees. Point being, there's a whole bunch more activity on the front porch than there was over the last 10 days. Hive number 2, which is in the third position down there, if you can see that, probably not. A ton of activity on the front porch. I believe I added a super last week or the week before that. They started filling up. Either way, check back on that video that was shared, posted last week. But I refreshed their queen. So they overwintered with 2020's queen, and I gave her a fresh blue dot. Hive number 3, or the far nuke, that one, decent activity, not sure if you can see it or not. That was a swarm that I relocated on March 30th from Maysville, which is about 20 miles from here. Check out our Facebook and Instagram for the pictures, but very typical swarm posted up in a kind of like a mess of tree branches and vines. Went out after dark, knocked them down into the box. Pretty sure I had them based off of what I saw. Went back the following night, which was very cold, or actually 2 nights later, which was pretty cold for that time of year. It was in the 40s or low 50s. No bees were hanging out on the front porch, but I could hear them in the box, so I just closed up the entrance, brought them home. I actually left them in the trunk of my car overnight because of how cold it was going to get, and then moved them out into the bee yard, I think that's Saturday, so maybe a week ago. And then hive number 4 here in the deep with the medium box. A lot of activity. Let's see, I refreshed that queen last time as well with a blue dot. They overwintered, and I didn't mention this, but hive number 2 and hive number 4, they had supers or medium boxes on, or I left them on over the winter with the intent of them using that as a brood chamber, and then when it warmed up, the colony moves down and they would start storing nectar, which they have. At least 2 weeks ago, they were filling a lot of frames with nectar. So this week I'm curious to see if they've started to cure that, because it has been significantly warmer, like in the 80s and everything. If they started to cure more of that nectar to honey. And with all of that being said, all the boxes, or all the colonies, which is 6, 2, and 4, that have medium boxes on there, I said it last week, I believe, but if I didn't, I'll just let you know now. I need to add queen excluders after I find the queen, of course. Drop the queen into the bottom box, add a queen excluder, all the bees and the brood and everything that are remaining, well, more so the brood, that are remaining in the top box, once they hatch out, the bees will then go back and backfill those cells with nectar. So if you don't know that, that is a fantastic way to get started for the spring. You have to plan a season ahead, which I did, and I did this the year prior with just one colony to test it out. Adding a new medium box, well, a medium box with frames with new foundation to it, feed them heavy so they can draw it out before winter, and then just let nature take its course. And that worked extremely well for 2 of the hives. They got a jump start on the spring because they used the feed that I gave them last year and some natural resources to draw out the frames in the medium boxes. And then, like I said, in turn, come springtime, nectar flow starts. They already have places to place. They have drawn wax to place the nectar, and they're not drawing wax from scratch in the spring, which it takes a lot of time if you don't know that. All right, enough of me yapping. Let me get a few things going, which one is the smoker, get a few other things prepped, and then check out this week's videos on the hive inspections as I go through each individual one. And it'll be the first time that I've looked at Hive 3, which I said is the swarm from Maysville, and it'll be the first time I've looked at Hive 5, which is the split that I made from Hive 6, I believe, to determine if they're queen right. So I don't know if the swarm had a marked queen. I didn't see her at all. I know they don't have a marked queen because they had 2 queen cells. So there's the potential that I'll be marking 2 queens this week. Thanks again for checking out the channel, everybody. If you like these videos, like everybody says, please subscribe. It does help. About 75 to 80% of our viewers are not subscribed. So if all those folks subscribe to our channel, it would help us out tremendously. It would get us above that 1,000 subscriber goal, and so on and so forth. And if you like the video, hit the thumbs up. If you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comment section, and I will do my best to respond to everybody. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. If you don't know that, you can simply search Cole's Farm NC for North Carolina, and it'll take you to the pages. Or if you go to our YouTube channel homepage, in the top right, you'll see the icons for all the other social media platforms we're on. All you have to do is simply click on them, and it'll take you to those pages, of course. All right, enough of me talking. Let's get into the hives and see how they're doing this week. They are definitely enjoying the warm weather. I know this doesn't exactly come up with my old GoPro camera, but there is a lot of activity out here this week.